So guys, today we're going to be talking about some iconic watches and their affordable counterparts. Chris, you've been known to wear fake watches.
Homage watches.
Fake watches. Okay, well, why don't you explain the difference for me, tough guy?
I can't be caught dead wearing I can't believe it's not a Rolex. But as someone who collects watches, who really appreciates the aesthetic of a watch, especially an iconic watch, I'll prioritize that and look for a watch that draws on similar design aesthetics.
If anyone here is still awake, what Chris is trying to say is that you don't need to break the bank in order to get a decent watch that looks somewhat similar to some icons. So why don't we get into it, Chris?
Absolutely. Hey, I'm Chris, and I spend way too much money on homage watches.
Fake watches. And I'm Julien. I know way too much about watches.
You're watching Pull the Crown.
The place for off-the-cuff watch content.
Mr. Julien, before we begin, I think we should cover the news.
I agree. And in fact, I've compiled what I think is one of the cooler releases, especially that it's kind of summer themed.
Yeah?
We're both working on our tans. You more successfully than I, of course.
I've been doing a lot of pool days.
Unfortunately, I don't have a pool. I'm not cool like that, but I've been trying. So what I found, which was really interesting, before we get to the main content of our video, Baltic had a really interesting release.
I saw that.
Yeah, really
enjoyable.
Cool. Really enjoyable, really cool stuff. The Hermetic line from Baltic. Baltic, very classic, has been known to produce French field watches for many, many years. They've made some really interesting pieces in the past, some really cool new releases, but now they're jumping on the pastel color trend and they're doing it at an affordable price.
I think it's a home run, honestly.
Yeah.
I really like the aesthetic for summer. I love that vintage aesthetic. Perfect size, 37 millimeters. Like you mentioned, very fun pastel colors.
Yeah.
My personal favorite of the bunch is clearly that Tiffany blue. I think
Of course.
it just looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't like that the strap is a slightly different blue. I'd probably change and swap out that strap, which, by the way, am I crazy or does that strap kind of look like a D-lug strap or something?
It almost does. Yeah, you're right. And I'd agree with you 100%. Switching the strap would change this watch, make it much more cool. I think even with the Tiffany, going for something fun like a white rubber or something on that might be cool for summer. I like all of them as well.
I put it on a black NATO.
Black
but
NATO
I just
would be
think
cool
the
too.
watch looks fantastic. I love the size. I love these smaller watches. I really like that you're getting that field aesthetic. The watch, if I'm not mistaken, has a water resistance to like 150 meters, which
perfect.
at this like $600 price point is phenomenal.
Great. Yeah. And obviously colorways, you know, it's always funny to me when brands say, oh, this is our summer line. We're inspired by this or that. And it's like, all it is you're inspired by the trends that are happening now, which is, you know, Rolex reinvents the pastel, brings it back a few years ago. And now every company has done the same. And every company's releasing basically their own Tiffany homage, let's call it. But all the same,
but you might as well follow that trend, right? And if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in your own kind of style, which I think they've pulled it off, you know? And even the name, I like the name Hermetic. You know, it's just like basically their way of saying it's hermetically sealed, which again is a nod to how water resistant the watch is.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a really fun, aesthetically pleasing watch. I like the recessed crown. I like the colors. I like the price.
I love those.
I like everything.
I love the Arabic numerals too. I'm a sucker for like an explorer style dial.
Yeah.
Great stuff, man. So why don't you take us away then?
Actually, I want to nod like one last thing, actually. Did you notice that there's a kind of subtle texture to the dial in some of the closer pictures?
Yeah, definitely.
I thought that was a really nice touch, actually.
Really great touch, man. And it's sort of meant to play back on the canvases that you see on the background as well,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's this great creaminess to it. Really soft texture, some slight sort of, there it is. Look at that.
Yeah,
great,
super nice.
Great watch,
anyways, jumping straight into the main topic.
Let's do it.
Affordable alternatives to the icons. What a good subject. I love that. So I actually want to start us off with a rant, a speech, if you will, about how I feel about affordable watches and just watches in general. But I want to preface it by saying that personally, I do not subscribe to the idea of consumerism. Right? I really do believe in the hedonic chart. Don't fucking smirk. Don't smirk. Let me finish. Then you could judge me. Okay? I really don't. Because I really don't believe that you can buy happiness. I feel like I've tried that. Now, having said all of that, there's a big but. There's a big fucking but coming. Okay? And that but is that there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot of spending the right amount of money where you don't fall into that, I'm going to try to buy my happiness, but at the same time, you allow yourself to be human. You allow yourself an identity. You allow yourself to express the way that you feel through a purchase of some material gain.
I really am starting to feel like I'm in psychology 101
No, not
again.
psychology, not psychology. Hear me out, hear me out.
I'm listening.
The other day when we walked into the restaurant together and we took a picture of our watches beside our glasses of scotch, we turned to each other and we said, there's nothing quite like wearing a nice fucking watch. Because
true.
in that moment, we felt a particular way about the fact that we were wearing nice watches. I'll go as far as saying that there's no other feeling like that, right? You can get a similar feeling when you get a pair of shoes that you really like, or you wear an outfit that you're proud of, and you have a pep in your step.
But for men, there's no equivalent, right?
There's
For
no
women, they can
equivalent.
wear their engagement
Absolutely.
ring among friends, and all of a sudden their friends are looking and saying, that's a bigger rock than I got.
Exactly.
You know?
But there's
And
no
Jeff.
real like alternative, right? To a nice watch.
Right.
And I will go as far as saying that you can get that feeling not exclusively by purchasing an Icon or some Grail watch, but just simply buying a watch of good quality that speaks to you on an aesthetic level or a sentimental level. You can get that same feeling. I get that feeling when I wear my fake homage Javril, just like I get when I wear my Daytona, just like when I wear my Seiko that I really like. It's just about acquiring a piece that you really like, and it'll genuinely change the way that you feel every time you put it on your wrist, which is why I think that this subject of speaking about alternatives, affordable alternatives to these icons, is such a relevant topic. Because if you're new to watch collecting or just new to acquiring a watch in the first place,
It's so easy to get lost and think that it's unattainable
exactly,
and that you'll never get there.
Exactly. And
it
there
is
are
the
these
most-
amazing
Definitely.
alternatives that'll make you feel just as fucking good.
You lost me halfway through, but you know what? We came
brought it
together
back.
in the
I
end.
brought it back.
You brought it back.
Okay. So, first watch. I have to touch on it. My Grail, the Rolex Daytona, and its alternative.
You really got to stop calling it your Grail because you have it,
Yes,
right?
I know, but it was.
The whole idea is that like
Okay,
you
shut
can't
up. Just
get the
shut
Grail,
up,
right?
Shut up.
All right.
And for anybody who has the Rolex Daytona as their Grail watch, I'm going to elect this thing, the Speed Timer.
Yeah.
Come on. You get the Panda aesthetic.
Yep.
It's a solar quartz movement. So
It's a what movement?
A solar quartz.
A what?
Solar quartz.
Did I hear quartz?
No, what? No. Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Come,
Interesting
it's a
thing.
solar quartz. So no batteries to change, no service intervals. You could literally shove this thing in a drawer and it'll last for 6 months. It would be longer, but the chronograph squeezes some juice out of it. It's a perfect size, a 39 millimeters. It's like a $700-ish US watch.
Yeah.
And again, you get that Panda aesthetic. You get an aluminum insert bezel. You get a chronograph. You get the white dial. You get the size. You have everything that you want.
Look, I
And it's a
remember.
Seiko.
I remember when these things first came out, and the first ones were selling above retail, and they sold above retail for.
Yeah, right. That's not a thing.
That was a thing.
This watch.
This watch, yeah, that was a crazy thing, right?
No
it was really
fucking
high.
way.
And there's a reason. Is that look? It is a budget, affordable alternative to a Panda. Yes, it's a quartz watch, but like you said, it's a
It
solar
was
quartz
selling
watch.
over retail?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Oh,
and,
fuck.
You know, if you didn't know as well, they did release other variations which were basically mimicking almost straight up Daytonas, right? They had like a platinum blue version, which was supposed
did
to be
not
like
know
a
any of
platinum
that,
Daytona.
man.
Yeah. So 100%, it's a great pick, man. But you know, speaking of Seiko,
Yeah.
and speaking of this watch, I should say there are other alternatives too. Like this isn't
of
the only
course.
one.
No, absolutely.
But to be fair, like you could pick these up for 400 US right now on the market, I think, just right around that, like half retail, you know, $400 or
Right.
$500 used, you know, the prices drop, the more used they get, obviously.
just for fun, what would you have taken as a Daytona alternative?
I really love the Laurier Gemini.
Oh, good choice.
Classic kind of look.
Manual wound.
Yes, yeah. But look, it's approaching more of that Paul Newman-esque Daytona. It's not
Right.
as modern. There is a great Baltic as well that was produced. Man, the name is eluding me right now, but it does have like that sort of ceramic bezel right now. Gyrus something? Scope chronograph?
That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right, but we're gonna edit that part out. You know, yeah, that watch is great too. Both of those are really great picks. I think they're more expensive though. I think that bang for your buck, if you're spending the $400 US, you know, or sometimes even less if you get a really used one.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
well under $1,000. You're not spending over $1,000 like the Laurier would be, or the Baltic, and for that matter. Great pick, Chris.
Thanks,
I have nothing to say. What else do you have for me?
Let's see. Well, I think just because I'm a huge fan of chronographs, I'll probably go to the Speedmaster next.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So anybody that doesn't like the Daytona, wants something that speaks a little bit more to kind of a lunar experience,
Yeah.
a little bit of a space nerd, then they're going to want a Speedmaster alternative. So I came up with this, the Lunar Pilot. I think it's a no-brainer. Speedmaster went to the moon on the Apollo 11 mission. The Lunar Pilot went to the moon on the Apollo 15 mission. So 4 missions later, it was on the moon.
Yeah.
I think the watch is fantastic. Also a quartz. I know, don't hate me, but it's a high frequency quartz, so it sweeps sort of like an automatic.
Yeah.
And this is a modern day like reproduction of the exact watch that went to the moon.
Right. I think the only critique that I ever have with the
size.
This is size.
The size.
That's
I
right.
know.
What I was
I
going to say.
know.
Right? 43 millimeters, right? Is it?
It's 45.
Oh, it's 45.
It's a fucking 45.
I'm pretty sure they produced some smaller variants, but I think the smallest was like 43. I could be mistaken there.
I mean, personally, I find it such an icon. If it wasn't for the size, I'd already own one.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you have a larger wrist or you're someone who just likes larger watches,
Yeah.
like look no further, man. Like what an icon. Like what a nice watch.
You really, there's no better alternative to a Speedmaster than this. Like you can name off other things, but they won't share the history.
No,
and
they
that's
won't share the
such
history.
an important thing.
And actually, just for fun, can you scroll up, Bri? Yeah, and just click on Lunar Pilot right there at the top, top left.
Yeah, Home Archive Series, Lunar Pilot. Just click that.
Just click that.
And the different variations.
Exactly. I just want to show you.
Yeah.
Scroll down, first one on the left. Look at that.
Yeah, with the meteorite dial.
With the meteorite dial.
And that's, by the way, Omega just released this year meteorite, Speedmaster moon phases and all that. Very similar aesthetic right out the gate. And yeah, $2,000
Like
for
that.
a meteorite dial. It's pretty decent, man.
Like for anyone who doesn't know, a meteorite dial is completely unique to your watch because no two pieces of meteorite are going to be the same. So your watch held side by side beside someone else's will look different. It'll have a different pattern. So to have a piece of material that was actually in space now in your watch, completely unique to you for $2,000 Canadian or $1,500 US, like, come on.
Chris.
What?
Someone might say it's out of this world.
Okay, no, you ruined it.
Moving on. What do you got next for me, Chris?
Okay, next, the Rolex Day-Date.
Yeah.
Such an icon. Everybody wants one.
Yeah.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah.
So I cheated a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. I know we don't actually have like a price restriction to what the affordable alternative could be.
Yeah.
But I chose 2. Okay. So the first one is the Orient President.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's literally as close as an homage could get.
Yes.
But it's discontinued. And when I was looking for them, I was very surprised to see how much these things
they trade for. Yeah.
They trade for.
They trade well over retail, man.
I know.
It's crazy.
I was freaking out. So they're anywhere between like $600 for one that was like run over by a truck to like $2,000 for one that's like very, very clean.
They go nuts. Yeah.
I'm freaking out. But because it's so desirable, there's a collectability to it. So if you can get past the fact that you're buying an Orient for $1,000, it's all scratched up, at least you know that your particular Orient will never depreciate.
Well, never say never,
Well,
right?
never say never,
Justin Bieber said it best, man. Like really, these kinds of things, it's really novelty purchase. Yeah, it's a cool little piece of sort of Orient history, the fact that them as a Japanese, now Seiko group, watch manufacturer kind of is copying a famous Swiss manufacturer. It's kind of an interesting concept.
It's interesting. It's super nice.
Look,
that black dial with the little like gold accents, like guild style dial, is so nice.
It's very nice. But I have to say that I know what your kind of two-folded answer is to this question of what would be the best day-date. And I know what your second pick is, and I have to say I'm going for it every day.
Go for that one? Okay, so this was just my honorable mention. The main one actually is the Tudor Glamour Day-Date.
Yeah, there we go.
It's been around for a while now. It's been around since 2009. I thought it was discontinued. Actually, still part of the Tudor catalog.
You know what's funny though is that I'm not sure if you knew this, but since the 70s, Tudor produced day-dates that they just called the Tudor Day-Date.
Yeah.
And those watches are really much closer than even the Glamours were. The Glamours, they altered the case. They had only smooth bezels versus the Tudor Day-Dates, which could have come with a milled bezel, very similar to a fluted bezel.
Right.
And by the way,
what do those shade for though?
You know what, Brian? Why don't you scroll up and let's find out. Let's and just search in the search bar Tudor Day-Date. Let's do it live. To quote one of my favorite news anchors, fuck it, let's do it live. There we go. Okay, so scroll down a bit. Yeah. So look at this one right here. The Tudor Prince Day Date with the tapestry dial. If you click on that, 1800 Canadian for a two-tone watch. Take a look at that. And that's a more recent one, by the way.
I actually kind of like that better than the Glamour.
This is an even more recent one. But if you hit the back button again, Brian, I'm really sorry. I'm completely taking over your pick right now.
You are, but I'm actually kind of all for it.
Yeah, man. Look, I've sold
especially with that dial. That's a cool dial.
They basically they had very similar dials to you would have found on Datejust back in the day, and some day dates with tapestry dials, linen dials, all sorts of great stuff. Like if you look around here, look at these things, right? So if we scroll down a bit more, we're going to find some that are older, most likely. Like that one on the far left.
That one,
the
7019 with the brown leather strap. That's nice.
So
that's good.
That's the original from like the 70s and 80s. So that's a real direct rip from Rolex, because most of the parts, by the way, are Rolex parts.
Yeah,
The bracelet would have come on it, would have been a Rolex signed bracelet. The crown would have been a Rolex crown.
I was just going to say, in those years, that crown is going to have a Rolex logo on it.
Yeah, man. And it would have been all produced in the same factory, basically, right? So then eventually Tudor opened up their own factory later. Yeah, so I mean, if you're talking about an alternative to day dates, you're basically getting a day date, but in a Datejust configuration with two-tone bracelets most of the time.
A little bit more subtle too. People don't know you're wearing a Rolex.
Definitely. I love this watch.
You feel like you're wearing a Rolex. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Great watch.
That's amazing.
Great pick, Chris.
I'll give you at least the assist.
Yeah. Alley-oop, man. Alley-oop.
All right, so my last icon.
Yeah.
And mainly just because I've been shopping for them. I'm like going back and forth between buying a Cartier Tank or a Santos.
Yes.
So I want to do the Cartier Tank. I just think it's such an interesting watch. I love that the designer like literally drew inspiration from a World War I tank. I just find that so cool.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try to find an alternative. It wasn't easy, but I stumbled on this. The Longines Good Life, or Dolce Vita. A little bit funky looking.
Very funky looking.
But it grows on you, especially from certain angles. So if you scroll down to the other pictures, there you go. I think that first picture from that angle, it looks fantastic.
You know, it looks like some of the elongated tanks. Oh man, look at the dial too. The guilloche on the dial. It's literally almost a one-to-one. The blued hands, the slanted Roman numerals. I mean, that's a tank right there, man.
It's pretty nice, eh?
It's you know what it is though. It's kind of like a hybrid. It's almost something that JLC might have produced back in the day. It's almost something that would have been, you know, a 20s, 30s standard. This kind of elongated tonneau shape. I mean, that's a really cool watch, man. All it's missing is a cabochon on the crown, and that's a tank right there.
Yeah.
That's a tank right there for sure.
I mean, it's a little bit pricier than I want it to be. I think it was like more or less $1,500 US or $2,000 Canadian.
Yeah.
And that's in a smaller size. If you get the larger size, I think it was even more expensive.
But keep in mind at the same time, okay, first of all, that's a automatic movement.
Yeah.
And it's a Longines automatic movement, meaning
it's
an
not
ETA.
a crazy power reserve or anything. I think it was like 45 hours.
Hey, that's
and
not
I think
bad,
it was
man.
only like 30 meters of water resistance, but it's like...
Well, you don't need that.
Exactly. I mean, it's on a leather bracelet. Like, who the fuck is swimming with this thing?
Is that a quick release strap on the back too? Are my eyes deceiving me? That little notch right there at the bottom.
No. Doesn't look like it, no.
No? Okay. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me.
Maybe. You might be onto something, but no,
I might be onto something. Look, man, that's a great pick right there. And you know, the beautiful thing is all the prices that are being shown right now, all of these brands, they sell for a pretty nice discount.
Yeah.
You know, you could find these brand new. Basically, you walk into any
100%.
AD, they'll give you up to a 30% discount in some cases, depending on your relationship.
And that's before you're shopping around trying to find it like on a Joma shop or something like that.
Exactly.
You know, like, absolutely.
You're getting these watches for like 50% off on the market, slightly used. So
that dial really is special, actually.
Listen, man, I'm looking at it, and you know, if I didn't see the Longines logo just from this angle I'm looking at here, it looks like a tank, man.
Yeah,
it really does. It looks specifically like a...
You're right though. It has some GLC vibes too, and that crown, man, it really speaks to me. There's something about it. It just looks right.
I like the case, by the way. I like that kind of notch that's running through the case. The sort of accentuated siding around the crown. It looks a bit like a propeller, actually. Now that I'm looking at it. Maybe that's what the basis is. It's maybe supposed to be that.
Is it? Could be.
It could very well be. But look, man, that's a great pick. And again,
I thought so.
Not breaking the bank here.
Not breaking the bank.
Yeah.
Great value. Very beautiful watch.
And a great manufacturer, by the way. Can we just say that Longines, it's an ETA movement, but all of Longines ETA movements, they can call them in-house because they're made in basically a segment of the ETA factory, obviously, because ownership is the same parent company, right? That owns Longines. Longines owns ETA and all that, right? So with that in mind, Longines has their own section of the ETA factories, right? So the ETA Valjoux factory. So all of their movements, they can design and tweak to their own discretion with their own oversight over the entirety of the process. So in that way, it sort of walks the line of being an in-house without truly being in-house. It walks the line,
but you're getting the reliability and robustness of an ETA movement.
Definitely.
Right?
Well, I think it's time I introduce my pick for super affordable alternative.
Your turn to touch on some icons?
Look, man, and I have to talk about this watch because it's actually one of the watches that I bought when I was really, really just, I never had any hope of ever attaining a Rolex Submariner, which to me is still one of the best wearing dive watches, if not the best wearing dive watch ever produced of all time.
I would go as far as saying that the Rolex Submariner is the icon among icons.
I'd say so, man.
Everyone knows what a Rolex Submariner is and looks like. Yeah. And everyone has knocked it off at some point. Every manufacturer has knocked it off.
Definitely. Hey, what did you just say? Knocked it off?
What? No, is that her?
Must have been the wind. Must have been the wind. Yeah. For me, this is a personal watch actually, is the Orient Kamasu. So years ago, I'm talking when I was, 14 or 15 years old, and I was just dreaming of seeing Rolex Submariners and getting one day. This was a watch that came up in forums to be talked about in terms of a really affordable diver that kind of did some interesting stuff, but shared a lot of similar case features, specifically to the 16610s and the prior subs before. Not identical, obviously, but there are some distinct features like the crown guards that could be featured on earlier, even 70s or 60s subs, and that for that matter. I actually bought this watch with a red dial, which I thought was a fun way to spice it up and make it different. Something that, sub has never been officially released on with a red dial before. Well, except for some red text on a 1680, but that's beyond the point. But like a sunburst red dial. And that's a watch that I had for years, man. I just had it. It was like in a drawer, basically. I wasn't wearing it. At one point I sold it just because it was sitting there, but I should have kept it for, a homage to my history with this.
You should have.
But when you talk about a watch that is good bang for your buck as a diver, I mean, come on. I mean, the price that's listed on the website here, if we go back,
it's
Brian,
$350.
$350, right? And that's a discounted price, I think.
Yeah.
I think I paid $100 Canadian for mine.
I have to say, $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, it looks fucking fantastic.
It's a phenomenal watch, man.
The crown guards are so perfectly proportioned. I love that they come to a point like that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bezel, I was noticing little details too.
Yeah.
Like on the actual, just outside of the indices, like the hour indices, there's like an extra indent.
Yeah.
On the actual bezel that looks so good.
Yes.
The hands look fantastic.
Really comfortable. Look, let me tell you something. The teeth on the bezel, the grip teeth basically.
Yeah.
Those are very comfortable. It's a super easy bezel to play with. It's so satisfying. It's got a really loud
Is that the one that you had with the red?
Exactly right. Yeah. I love that little bit of Fotina going on too. That little bit
on the loom.
Obviously having a day and date. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, with the polished window. Nice touch.
Polished window, exactly.
All for $350.
$350, man. Orient knows what they're doing. They're a Seiko brand, but
I love this choice. I actually just have a random question for you, off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know the story of Orient? Like, I know that Orient is part of the Seiko group. That's about
only
it.
Since like the 2000s. They were independent before.
Oh, they were.
Yeah,
they were acquired by the Seiko.
They were acquired. Yeah.
Okay.
And the brand made some directional changes, but before they were just a Japanese manufacturer, man.
Okay.
Played the same game that Seiko did. They used Miyota movements. They used generic sort of manufacturing plants. Seiko really took over the Japanese market as a whole, and they started just buying out all of the small guys to the mid-sized guys like Orient. Right. Orient's an old brand. I mean, in terms of modern Japanese watchmaking.
Do you know how long they've been around?
I'm not gonna misquote it, man. Like, look, that's just not my area of expertise, but it's had a decent run. Let's put it that way. Obviously,
anyways,
a really
great choice, man.
Really cool.
I really like it. Super nice.
Well, we'll move on to something a little different. Which here's a question that I get asked often, which is, I want a Richard Mille, And there's two kinds of people that are asking
I don't like
me.
Richard Mille.
I don't like them either, but there's two kinds of people that would ask me. Someone who can actually consider getting a Richard Mille,
Yeah.
and is wondering, do I do it, or am I gonna, lose a ton of money? And is it like too much of a showboat watch? And they're kind of concerned about that. And
Hold on,
there's
but now I want the answer to that. You don't lose money if you buy a Richard Mille.
Oh yeah, but I'll get
What do you
there.
mean? Oh yeah,
I'll circle back.
I thought they're all appreciating assets.
No.
All
I'll
right.
circle back there. Or there's the kind of person who just really knows they can't afford it, and there's even if they
want
could,
the flash.
they want a similar aesthetic.
Sure.
So this pick goes to the second scenario rather, of somebody who wants the look of it, but maybe just that little aesthetic.
Yeah.
But isn't willing to spend more than, let's say, $1,000. And this company, Sar Bomba, has been talked about. Really funky name. I don't even understand the root of the name. It's been explained, but still don't get it. It's kind of an interesting little brand. I mean, really, to give you...
Shit, you just fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I was paying attention to you, and this was just kind of playing in my peripheral vision.
Yes.
And I swore that we were on the Richard Mille site.
Oh, there you go. See, that's what I mean.
Look over like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So like, okay, this is like homage to the extreme.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's so far into homage that it's really like basically a fake. Okay, at this point, so it's kind of ironic that I would be so hating you. But to tell you the truth, man. Here's the thing, okay? This brand, I think, and this is like, they're going to go into their story and probably never mention Richard Mille and never mention the root of anything.
Dude, look at that thing.
But really, you want to know where this brand came from? I'll tell you exactly what it was. A lot of people were buying fake Richard Milles, okay? And what happened was some guy probably had the idea, okay, we'll use the same people, the same factories in China that are producing the fake Richard Milles, but let's make a brand around it instead and change certain things and make
Why
things
not?
like that one right there, that new arrival, for example, and make things a little different. One thing that's cool about the brand, though, is that they offer it with sort of these kits where you can interchange straps, cases, crowns, much like Richard Mille, right? You can always customize the crown color, you can customize the strap. But in this case, you can actually swap out cases and do some really interesting customization. So for that, it's worth talking about. I mean, some of their base models are like $200-$300.
Dude, I have to say, man, that looks pretty fucking good.
Look, you're not gonna
I mean, it's
break
very
any ground.
clearly
It's a rip, man.
an homage, but
It's a rip. But
but dude, if you want that look again, like why not?
the why not is it's a little close, it's a little on the nose. They call themselves like a German Chinese hybrid. All these watches are produced in China, man.
Look,
at the end of the day,
I see the case that could be made for and against it.
Yeah.
But I'm just not in a position to speak, man. I've always loved the Paul Newman Daytona. They're $250,000.
Yeah.
My Jibro cost me $4,000. It's
Sure.
not in the same fucking ballpark. But I'm so fucking happy with it, and I got the look that I wanted.
So there you go.
If you want the look of a Richard Mille, here it is. There you
That
go.
for me is probably the best in the budget that you can do without straight up buying a fake that says Richard Mille on the dial but isn't. Otherwise, for the other case, right? So when you have a client, when I have a client who asks me, okay, I want the Richard Mille kind of aesthetic look, I don't want to spend $300,000 for it. I go to the Frank Mueller, okay?
Makes sense.
The Vanguard, look, when you talk about the tonneau shape, okay, Richard Mille gets a lot of credit, especially with people who are new entrants into the watch market, for that case design and that sort of like bold design. And the marketing was genius. Okay, Richard Mille was a marketer. That was his job before,
No, for
right?
sure.
He was a marketing guy. He knew how to sell watches. He knew how to market them. When he made his brand, he essentially took everything that Frank Mueller did well. Like if you didn't know, back in the 90s, a lot of Frank Mueller watches sold above retail. And they were super desirable because they were the first people to take the tonneau case shape, make it sporty, flashy, and fun and modern, and repurpose it and repackage it and sell it. Frank Mueller kind of fell off as a brand later.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what I know about Frank Mueller is that once upon a time it was very popular.
Yes.
And now it's just really fucking not.
Yeah, big
Like
time.
that's the extent of what I know about Frank
Look,
Mueller.
if you want a tonneau shape, a modern tonneau shape, and you're willing to spend a few $1,000s, you can get some Vanguards, base level Vanguards, that are super inexpensive. And a lot of the earlier 2000s...
Super inexpensive on the second hand though.
On the second hand, yeah, definitely because of the price drop. That's a good little tidbit to jump in. But look, man, they do all kinds of stuff. Even at retail, a lot of these open bridge movements, a lot of the carbon stuff, like the Krypton racing, this kind of stuff in RM would cost probably about 5 times as much, even at retail. So for me, this is a decent enough alternative for that guy that has some money to spend. It is a good
alternative because you're still getting the same aesthetic. You're getting maybe not a similar quality, but you're getting a quality timepiece, right?
It's very similar quality.
Oh, is it?
Very similar, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for the high range stuff. Frank Mueller is no joke, man. They did some really interesting stuff. They hired some expert watchmakers in their day, man, and they cannot be discredited for some of the stuff that they produced specifically in the 90s in the golden age. They did some cool stuff, man. But look, I'll go back to your little question of before, which is Richard Mille.
Yeah.
I'd say the majority of, okay, I'll rephrase it. I'm thinking in my head the best way to phrase this. Basically every base model RM sells under retail right now, even if you were to get it at the AD. They take a drop.
When you say base model, you mean everything that's not in a tonneau shape?
No. I mean everything, even in tonneau shapes, basically non-limited, super exclusive pieces. Most of them sell under, okay? And I'm talking anywhere from across the range of high complications to really base level stuff. Most of it takes a dip at retail, okay? It's not always a big dip. In some cases it is.
Yeah.
That's been the case since COVID, where things have just slowly declined. But in the last 2 years, the brand has really dropped in market pricing. The stuff that's still selling for a lot is, your Bubba Watsons, your Rafael Nadals, limited limited stuff, okay? Really limited stuff that sells for that. But even at that, some of those editions, which were released years ago, have dropped as well, right? I mean, and gone in some cases under retail. So that's just to answer your question.
Okay.
It's why I would not suggest anyone just walk into an RM boutique and buy
I feel
whatever.
like we could do an entire episode on appreciation and depreciation of watches.
It could be a good idea. But
let's move on. What's your next pick?
My next and last pick is, I thought, well, let's talk about the Nautilus. Let's talk about another classic watch, which,
So that's my next pick.
Oh, sorry. I skipped ahead a little bit, actually. I didn't
2 more
have
choices.
Nautilus. I actually have 2 Pateks. So
Okay.
I'll jump first to your standard sort of. This could be applicable to, this could be a Vacheron. This could be any haute horology, basically, brand which produces dressier timepieces with high complications like perpetual calendars and so on and so forth. For me, if I'm looking at, a classy dress Grand Comp from Patek, my alternative, I just stick with the base, man. The cool brand, which is always there. Great market. It's very consistent aftermarket, post-sale market, which is Longines, man.
Yeah.
These triple dates, they call them the Master Collection. They come in all kinds of different dial variations, all kinds of different stuff, but they're all based on the Valjoux 7751. So powerhouse movement. It's a triple date with a moon phase, with a 24-hour counter. In this case, it's got a chronograph going on as well. Look, man, it's a triple date with chrono.
What more is there to say, though, right? You're getting haute horology functionality for a fraction of the price.
Without a perpetual calendar that being there. Sure. But still, it's pretty good, man. And look, the finishing...
The dial looks very recessed.
Yes, it is.
Is that because the watch is extremely thick?
It's not extremely thick. It's the thing is the 7751 is not
just
like ridiculously
make room
thick
for all of those extra hands, I guess.
Basically just to make room and make it seem a bit more ergonomic, I'd say, more than anything. But you could see that accentuated chapter ring. You have the inner ring on the bezel. The Riho is also has an inner scale.
It's a pretty good looking watch, man.
I think so, man. Look, pointer date, right? So that's also to make way the fact that they wanted to have a chapter ring. They had to do it on the Riho because it's got a pointer date around where that would normally be around the chapter ring. So, but yeah, look, as you can see, plenty of different variations. I just like this blued hand, blued applied indice aesthetic. It almost reminds me of Breguet.
Just for fun, Brian, can you click the ones right there? It says available in 8 variations. Just click through those. I just want to take a peek. I'm just curious.
Black and rose. Yeah.
I'm so happy I asked for that.
There you go. And look, pricing wise, $4,800. It's expensive for this exact variation, but I'll tell you right now,
dude, I liked it before. Now I want one.
Well, there you go, man. Most of these too sell, 50% off in the market for used.
No, I would literally pick up that exact watch, and I would go see Bespoke Aaron in Montreal, and I'd go get a custom strap made.
Bespoke Aaron.
You know what I'm talking about?
Aaron so Bespoke, yeah. Bespoke Aaron. It's funny. It's kind of like a funny little pet name you gave him or something.
I'm just saying,
Love you, Aaron, by the way.
That with a custom strap, man. What a watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Great piece, man.
Good choice. All right,
Speaking
move on to
of
the
Patek,
Nautilus one.
yeah, we'll go to the
I want to
Nautilus.
get the Nautilus one because
So-
I mean, the Daytona, to your point, is not my grail anymore. The Nautilus is my next grail.
So Nautilus wise, so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, basically.
I don't know how you're going to pull this one off because it's a very unique shape to kind of pull off.
So I'm going Frederick Constan. I'm going with the High Life. Okay. I've owned a few High Lifes. I don't know why it's zoomed in like that right now. It's kind of funky, but
Bro, you chose
there you go.
an affordable alternative at $13,000.
Well, this is just an example, actually. So this is more an example. If you
An
skip
example
ahead,
of what? That you were dropped on your head as a child? What are you how the fuck is that an affordable alternative
Okay.
to anything, bro?
because the base High Life sell for a few grand. Now, the reason I picked this watch is the example that I wanted to show, and why affordable is totally relative, is the fact that if you skip ahead 2 tabs, if you go to the last tab, Brian, so skip past the second pick, one more, 5740G perpetual calendar. Okay, on the market, this watch is well over $200,000.
I was just going to say it's like $250K now.
It's a perpetual calendar. It's in-house. It's beautiful. Obviously, it's solid gold. So you can spend $200,000 plus there. Or we can go back to the back 2 tabs again there, Brian, and we go back to that one that we had before. Look, so you can spend the 200 plus, or you can get a perpetual calendar, a thin perpetual calendar, okay, with a really interesting dial. I love the color, this kind of like deep blue, almost a royally blue, like kind of.
I'm not going to lie. The initial shock of seeing the price closed me off to anything you were saying and anything that I was seeing.
Yeah.
But now that I take a deep breath, I can actually acknowledge, okay, I didn't realize
Dude,
it was
it's a full perpetual
I
calendar.
did, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't realize it
And
was
by
a
the way,
perpetual.
again, this is a watch that's going to sell
The
for
bracelet-
50% off. So whatever price you see there,
Fair enough.
give it some
Fair
time.
enough.
It'll go 50% off.
The bracelet is straight up Nautilus.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm starting to see it.
There you
I'm
go.
starting to see the value. I'm starting to see why you're pointing it.
Yes.
It's starting to make sense to me.
In-house
The
movement.
movement looked pretty well finished as well.
Yeah. So Brian, if you click that third picture there, classic FC movement, man. Rose gold rotor. I mean, look at that, man. It's blued screws. I mean, it's by the way, quick
That's
release
pretty sweet.
bracelet.
So I would say the best argument you could make for this specific watch is what a sleeper piece.
Well, not only that,
Like
Chris,
no one is looking at that watch and thinking you have an expensive watch on.
Yeah.
But if you,
I think they might actually in this case. Though.
You think so?
It's well enough executed.
no, I'm
They
saying
might.
like someone who doesn't care about watches sees that
Right.
on your wrist, they're not thinking about it.
Right.
But I'm saying if you're in a room with people that do care about watches,
Yeah.
it will be noticed.
Yeah.
It will be spoken about.
Look, this is a new release, by the way. It has been getting talked about a lot. They've produced other perpetual calendars in the past. But another example, this is not one that I've ever owned. But if we go to the next tab, Brian,
That's a nice watch though.
a very
give it
nice
to you.
watch.
It's a very nice watch.
the next tab, this is one that I have owned. And I could tell you exactly what I paid for it.
Yeah.
And even what I sold it for. It's a fully done out Worldtimer. Okay. Same case size. It's 41 millimeters. It wears
Right.
true to that. Comes with an additional rubber strap that's quick changeable. I think, or it might have been a leather. But FC Worldtimers, they've been talked about. They're great value for money. The 43 millimeter variants. This is in 41 in basically what is like a Nautilus shape sports watch. Again, you have that same sort of finish and finesse on the movement. Look at it; it almost looks identical, right? Because the plates are basically stacked the same way, right? The complications are underneath. It's not perfectly integrated.
So what'd you pay and what'd you sell it for?
So I paid, I think it was $3,200 for this exact watch, Canadian. So that's about 2,400 US. And I sold it for maybe like 3,300 or something like that. Made a few $100 after wearing it for a bit. Huge discount, man. Huge discount. And
Say
for
no
that
more.
money,
I was going to say that perpetual calendar, if you offer me that watch right now today for $6,000,
yeah, it's a no-brainer.
I'd go straight to an ATM and give you the money.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like, it's a new release. Obviously, it's not even on the market, but I've seen the previous generations of it.
Right.
Go for that.
Right.
Another thing to note, the base High Life, these are complications, right? This is just to give you an example of, hey, Frederick Constan is doing some great stuff, man.
Right.
They're doing some really interesting stuff. But the base High Lifes trade for like $1,000 US, $1,500 US.
Right.
Okay, at most. And that's just a base level, like blue dials and all sorts of different ways. So those are alternatives to the
last
Nautilus.
Frederick Constan that you showed me is still in my cart.
Yeah.
Like I'm still like waiting to pull the
man.
trigger on it.
Look, they keep doing better and better, and you know, I talked about it in a few episodes ago, but when Citizen Group bought them, people were kind of, I wonder how this is going to play out. I think they're doing great.
Yeah.
I have no complaints, and yeah, man, that's my pick right there.
Dude, those are some really solid choices.
Thank you.
Really solid. Pretty expensive, but solid choices.
Yeah.
So, all right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we wrap up today's episode? Normally, I like to talk about the watches on our wrist. I still think we should do that. And I think it's wonderful because it kind of ties into exactly this episode, which is affordable alternatives to icons.
Yeah.
You're currently wearing an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak.
That's correct.
And I'm wearing a Tissot PRX.
We have them right here in studio in hand.
So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I don't think it's fair. Okay. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
To do any sort of like head-to-head comparison between these two watches.
No.
They're completely different. They serve different purposes.
Yes.
One is an absolute luxurious, like statement piece.
Yeah.
It's a grail. The other one is a mass-produced workhorse that you can wear and enjoy every single day. They're just not the same. But I think it's worth noting that earlier, before we started filming, you were taking a picture of both of them in your hand, and I got a chance to wear both of them. Okay, and I put on the PRX for the first time ever putting a PRX on my wrist right after putting on that Royal Oak. And I have to say, I felt almost as special with the PRX. Like, it is a freaking good looking watch. Yeah. It really is. So, and just to say, like, you're talking about a power reserve on that one is what, 60 hours?
Less actually.
It's less than 60 hours.
Yeah.
80 hours
Yeah.
on the Powermatic 80.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Water resistance for yours, 50 meters?
Yeah.
100 meters
yeah.
of water resistance, right? Yeah. So it's like, and that watch is how much?
40 grand.
40 grand. Yeah. This is what, 400?
Yeah.
$300?
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry. This is the automatic. So $600?
Yeah.
So 400 US?
Okay. So US, yeah. 30s US, yeah.
30s US versus 300s US.
Yeah. So
like, so again, just to say, okay, with these icons, there's nothing like saving up and accomplishing the ability to buy a Royal Oak and putting it on your wrist. I'm not saying that you're going to obtain that with this, but I'm just saying that in the interim, while you potentially work towards your goal, if that's even a goal of yours, to afford that, you might as well fucking wear one of these.
100%.
Because fuck, man, is this thing nice.
Look, it's even more practical as a watch than this watch could be. And why do I say that? Beyond the water resistance, the added power reserve, beyond all that, right? That's a watch that you can go anywhere in the world with and without really fearing for your life. Absolutely. If you're on a beach vacation, somebody says, give me your watch. Okay, you just lost $300. It sucks. And you've been mugged. Obviously, there's some trauma involved. But you're not crying and going home and going, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. Why did I wear my Royal Oak? And at the same time, you're getting, like you said, that similar sensation of that feel of wearing a luxury sports watch with an integrated bracelet and a gentle design, right? You're getting that same approximation, and it's a great bang for your buck. It's probably a better bang for your well, it is a better bang for your buck than any of these could ever be, realistically. I mean, even at retail, technically, in my eyes, the Royal Oak is overpriced. Now, you can get into some different factors, right? Where this here is not your standard 15510 current production 41 millimeter Royal Oak. This is a 15300 ST.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, in Royal Oak collecting, 39 millimeters is kind of a rarer size. It's referred to as the jumbo size, generally, with the 15202 being the forefront of that. It's a reissue of the original Nautilus, Royal Oak, rather, sorry. Where it was reissued in like 2003, the 15202, 39 millimeters. It's called the Jumbo because of a big applied AP logo right on the center. No seconds hand, no quick set date, but it's ultra thin at like 8.1 millimeters thick. Around the same time, maybe a few years after the production, AP released an alternative to the 15202, which carries a higher retail.
Okay.
And they released the 15300. It was a very short production, but it's a 39 millimeter, 9.4 millimeter case, same bracelet, different movement. Okay, it's got a solid 22 karat not micro rotor, but rose gold rotor rather than basically a hollowed out design. The movement architecture is a little different, but it has quick set date and a seconds hand. but maintains a very similar case aesthetic.
Yeah.
Wearability, which by the way, 39 millimeters is incredible.
And not only that, it's 9.4 millimeters thin.
Yes. And get this, half the price of a 15202 on the current market. Half the price.
Wow.
Okay, is it half the watch of a 15202? No, it's like 99% the same watch.
No, 100%.
Realistically, okay? So for me, this, you know, at 40K Canadian or 30K US, call it, is a great value for money watch that's slept on. It's a very short production. I think it was produced 6 years.
Listen, no one's denying that that is a fantastic timepiece.
Yeah. It's actually my favorite Royal Oak ever made, by the way.
I don't
with all
disagree.
those factors.
Don't disagree.
Yeah.
But I will end by saying, I don't think it's quite as fantastic as a fucking Tissot PRX at $400. Especially when you think about a very, very niche subset of the population can afford that.
Yeah,
or
true.
ever hope to afford that.
True.
Anyone, rich or average, could afford a PRX.
Yeah.
Literally anyone can save up and get a PRX. Anyone can enjoy this. You want a 70s design, integrated bracelet watch, Swiss made, a good timepiece that's going to be reliable. That you can go
you can take care of that watch. It'll last your whole life, man. If you service it
agree.
regularly,
and I feel
not
like
with olive oil.
I feel like, again, it just goes back to why we're doing this.
Definitely.
There absolutely are fantastic, affordable alternatives to these iconic watches. And I would go as far as arguing that this is the daddy. This is the king.
It's the Mac Daddy.
It is the Mac Daddy. It is the best. And this is why it is so heavily reviewed. There's a bajillion YouTube videos around.
Yeah.
There's
and variations, by the way. We've touched on some
There's
of them
a
before.
reason. It is because it is the daddy. The PRX is the best, most affordable alternative to one of the biggest icons, one of the holy trinity that there is.
I couldn't agree more, Chris. On that note, guys, thanks so much for watching. We're going to catch you in the next video.
See you guys.